Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for choosing to tune into the Collegiate Star League ULoL Campus Series. I am Kyle Corvus Crow, joined by the one, the only, and the absolutely magnificent Brian Starkey.
Hi, everyone.
Tonight we have a very special show for you as we will be tuning in to the University of Connecticut squaring off versus none other than Dartmouth University.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting game. Actually, just on Wednesday, Kyle and I had the opportunity to cast the Harvard versus Waterloo game.
Yep, already have an Ivy League game under our belt. Didn't quite go as much in the favor of the Ivy League as they may have wished, but, you know, Dartmouth could be looking to pull something back today. They are starting on the blue side for us.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue that came up on Wednesday when it was the Harvard versus Waterloo game is Harvard just didn't look quite as prepared as they needed to be to take on what Waterloo brought to the table. You know,
right,
Waterloo brought some very strong picks to the table.
Good understanding of the meta.
Yeah, and very good control of the game as well. They definitely had the flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see which of these two teams comes through tonight. I don't think they've ever played each other, due to my knowledge. This is actually the first game for both of these. We can bring up the standings here. I don't believe either have a win or a loss under their belt, so going to be really important to start out strong for.
Yeah, I think this is the first game of the season for them, so I think both teams want to start off very, very strong. Now, if I remember correctly, you did a little bit of research on UConn, I believe it was, and they performed very well last season.
Well, so there is an interesting thing to touch on there, actually. Yes, I took a look into the University of Connecticut back when Riot was doing their own ULoL. I believe it was called the NACC Collegiate Championship.
Okay.
And the University of Connecticut went on to play in the semifinals, actually, but I checked it. I didn't see any of the same players here, so
okay.
I don't know if that's any iteration of this team, if there's any residual staff left over, analyst, management, just people involved, or if it's just an entirely separate entity of, you know, league enthusiasts, another team from the University of Connecticut. So
yeah,
actually, if any of the UConn members are around and listening, get in touch with us after the broadcast. We'd love to know.
Yeah, and definitely, we'd love to bring it up. Now, it looks like they are hopping into drafts, and we're going to log in for you guys here on the side. So what you have on the left side of the screen, on blue side, Dartmouth is going to be blue side first, and then UConn is going to be starting red side. Quick bands coming out. Lee Sin first coming out strong. That's a really great band to start with. Actually, Lee Sin very strong in this meta. He's a very high pressure jungler.
With early game jungle pressure being everything it is, you have to get rid of some of those.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Hecarim, Kha'Zix, Rengar, if they're just going for blood in the jungle.
Yeah.
Those things would be likely bans as well.
Yeah, and taking out LeBlanc, she's really, really strong. Her roaming potential right now, you have to pay very close attention to AP mid laners that have good roaming potential. Malzahar coming out early, still very strong in the mid lane, very high pressure as well. Darius coming out, which I'm not sure about Darius, but maybe there's some strats there that we don't know about quite yet.
Could be a target ban if they've done their research and just checked out each person's profile, seeing what they main and so forth. So.
And seeing Camille get banned out, not that.
Not a surprise.
Not a surprise at all. Camille is very, very strong right now.
It's on permaban.
So they actually have introduced in patch 7.1, Riot has introduced a couple of adjustments towards Camille to help tone down her power a little bit, making her a little less tanky and nerfing her ultimate just a little bit to help kind of slow down that pressure that she's able to exert.
Makes sense, but won't make sense for this game. Skarner instantaneously taken in.
Yeah, Skarner's an interesting pick actually. So I could see how he would work, just in the sense that he provides a lot of really quick gank potential, and he can come into the bot lane and really get that first kill and try to get that first bot lane tower that you really, really want to have early on.
Sure. Well, Skarner's distant-looking cousin, at least Rek'Sai, locked in on the other side. They do look similar. They're both like scorpion.
They're both kind of like
driller
bugs,
things.
Right?
Right, exactly. Very sharp teeth and so forth. So Sion, I want to touch on that. That's going to be a fun one to watch in the top lane.
Yeah.
Offers a little bit more in terms of bruising than maybe we saw in some of the last games, where it's just wet noodle fights in the top lane.
Yeah, the Poppy and the Nautilus, not exactly
Sure.
not exactly an entertaining
the
lane to watch.
The most exciting lane to watch, of course.
Yeah,
Sion also has that global pressure. So.
Right. And quick to note, Caitlyn being picked up on the side of Dartmouth, that's a really good pick, actually. Very long range, very safe. That's what you want in your bot lane during this meta, where your ADCs aren't exactly favored in terms of being able to stay alive very long and maybe get as much lane pressure as they would like or as they've used to have in the past, right?
Well, Jin will be the response to that with very likely Zyra coming out for the support there against the Bard.
Yeah. Jin and Zyra, good picks. Bard being picked up as well. Bard Caitlyn is a pretty good lane, I believe. He can keep her stacked up. He can do some stuns. He's got some utility, some escape, help along with that. Zyra's got some lockups to help prevent Jin getting caught on right away. And, they don't have a whole lot of initiation on the side of Dartmouth picking up Garen in the top lane.
Sure. You can do some fun stuff if you hit a Bard ult and then get Skarner in position to ult immediately as well, or teleport a Rise on top, but you gotta be really coordinated and pretty creative to pull off some of that well.
Yeah, but the nice thing is with the Rise pickup, they actually do have Rise's ult to help teleport them into a good position, so you can do a really good pincer move. You can have Skarner coming down from the top, you can have your team pushing up from the bottom, you can use the Bard ult. So using that Rise actually kind of rounds out this composition in terms of, initiation a little bit.
Sure.
Now you have to play around the ults very, very well.
Zed locked in as a response to the Rise mid. That's going to be really fun to watch, actually.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a great read on how good Zed is in this meta.
Assassins are pretty strong, actually. So you do see a lot of AD assassins in the mid lane these days. Katarina's pretty good, Zed. But the thing is that generally you kind of want to have an AP mid laner so you can apply that pressure and roam more.
Right.
At least that's what I've seen.
Because you're wanting to play a good bit around.
Right, but Zed applies that same pressure though, right? He gets to level 6, he bursts you down, and even if he doesn't kill you like he wants to, you all of a sudden open him up to roam into that bot lane to cause like mayhem and havoc down there, right?
Sure.
And as they are loading, kind of picking their loadout, we
don't have order on the side of Dartmouth.
Yeah, Dartmouth is not in LCS order, so we're actually going to go through and read off the positions for you. Rise is going to be in the mid lane on Trapanic HD. Bard and Caitlyn, which is Akshay and Koa Zix in the bot lane, support and ADC.
Sounds vaguely familiar. Koa Zix, where have I heard that before?
I think it might be the name of a champion in this game that we're watching, but I'm not entirely positive.
In the top lane, we have Blue Mist playing Garen, and rounding out the composition with jungle is Platypyrule?
I would say Platypyrule.
Platypyrule playing Skarner. Over on the side of the University of Connecticut in the top lane, it is Tosh the guy playing Scion. Rek'Sai pulled in by Mishu. Regret on Zed. And Xandergod and Silas polishing off the composition with a Jin Zyra duo lane. Now before we do get into this game, Riot has a lovely 3-minute delay, just so no cheats, please. In that time, we're going to take that to plug a couple of our sponsors that make this show happen today. We have Band Gaming, which is a social app, the primary social app of CSL. Tons of features such as creating groups, which can be good for your CSL team or club, boards, calendar functions, polls, chats, and as of recent, call functionality. They've added voice there. Band is a premier social experience for you and your fellow gamers alike. You can find out more at band.us/home or find them in the Google Play and Apple App Store.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Okay, still a minute left on that clock, so we're going to plug another one, actually. We still have to give shout-outs to Twitch and Asus. Twitch is one of the most amazing companies to work with. They do so much for us, and they're the reason we can bring you these broadcasts tonight, so have to give a shout-out to the largest streaming platform in all of gaming, and pat them on the back for being willing to support collegiate esports.
And definitely the last one that we'd like to plug, like Kyle said, is Asus. And for the first time, we would like to welcome Asus to the CSL family for the 2016-2017 season, provider of everything esports. From all their wonderful products, such as their monitors, laptops, graphic cards, and motherboards, they definitely provide you the necessary equipment to get ready in game right away.
Absolutely. Actually, we're casting tonight from an Asus monitor, and could not be clearer or more high resolution.
Yeah, I love my Asus monitor. That sounds like really cheesy, but I actually do like my Asus monitor.
You're in love with it.
Yeah.
They've applied for a marriage license. Very controversial. We don't actually ask too many questions there. We just let Starkey do his thing.
No, not like this.
And on that happy note, couple seconds left before we're launching into the game. On the blue side, it is Dartmouth University. On the red side, it will be the University of Connecticut. Excited to see how this one turns out. Ranks looking pretty even, so gonna be quite interesting. You know, sometimes can't be helped. You find an imbalance on one side or the other and end up in blowouts, but not so much when the games are a little closer. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be really, really exciting. These, like I said, these comps are very, very different. I'm excited to see how this Zyra Jhin does in the bot lane against Bard and Caitlyn.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be really, really good. And I'm pretty excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see how that goes. If Caitlyn can manage to stay out of trouble with the Zyra lockdown and avoid getting that 4th crit by Jhin.
Yeah, absolutely.
She'll be
the
good
crits
to
are
go.
going to be actually so, forgive the pun, critical in this game, just with both Caitlyn and Jhin having a lot of built-in management of their crit shots.
Right, and this is what we would call that young crit city, because you've got Jhin and Caitlyn, like you said. So there's going to be crits on crits, you know. So yeah, it'll be really exciting. I'm really excited to get to this game. Like we did say before, Dartmouth is not in LCS order, so
You're gonna have to bear with us there. We'll drag them in on the load screen here as best we can.
So
I want to see some level 1s.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Well, it looks like they're going on a crash course for level 1.
This could be fun.
I mean, they're lined up, ready to go. Jhin may have shown himself, maybe not. Oh, Bard's going in. Scion charging up. Oh, nothing of it.
Almost.
Yeah, they revealed themselves just a little too early. I'm actually surprised that they didn't have the Zyra lead with her E to try to get that lockdown, then have the Zion Q charge into it for that knockup and just that chain CC stun, right?
Well, the surprise is ruined, so I doubt anyone's going to be using anyone level 1 here. Expecting to see pretty standard lanes. You don't really go into something like this with a lane swap cheese or strategy if you don't have a pretty good read on your opponent and how it's going to impact them specifically.
Yeah, especially if you don't have any early wards out. You want to have the early wards out so you can spot out if there is going to be a level 2 cheese. Caitlyn getting a little of extra early damage off there. Skarner looked like he's going to have some help from his bot lane, both from Caitlyn and Bard. That'll be really good for him. It'll actually help speed up his kind of slow clear time right now, so it'll be good to get him rolling, right away.
Yeah, you want to start on that strong side if you're a slow jungler. Just get the help from your bottom lane and then move right along.
Yeah, and actually in the top lane, you see Rek'Sai starting on her strong side as well. Getting help from Sion. Or Red, I'm sorry. She's
red
starting
side, red side.
I apologize.
That happens.
Right, Rek'Sai is starting red side, getting help from Sion. Sion's going to be a little bit late to lane, which is actually a little bit unfortunate when you're playing against Garen, because he can use his Q to silence you, and then he can spin to win on top of you.
So, looks like he's actually going to be in the experience range. He does miss the first minion, but he gets all the EXP from it, so there shouldn't be any imbalance just in terms of actual minion values. Now, how fast they get to those, that's another question.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting to note, Garen did not bring strength of the... Garen did not bring strength with the Colossus, so he doesn't have that shield that you're used to seeing on your top laners like Sion has there, right? With any heavy CC you apply, you get a percentage health shield. Garen did not bring that. He brought the dueling mastery in the top lane, which is, I think, is Grasp of the Undying, where that when you're in combat for a certain amount of time, you auto attack and you steal life from your opponent.
Well, that is Blue Mist just saying he is ready to go toe-to-toe with Tosh the Guy and make an impact from the top lane. Excited to see Garen and Sion. That just feels like a breath of fresh air compared to
Poppy Nautilus.
Poppy Nautilus. I wasn't going to go specifics, but yeah, Poppy Nautilus.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it wasn't just the last game that was Poppy Nautilus, right? It was like
the last season.
It was practically all of the end of the middle and the end of last season.
Oh, did he miss the cannon? That's hard to say.
No, I believe he got it.
Because this is a shot. I think he missed the cannon.
That always hurts in the early game. You need as much of that gold as you can get. and he is 3 CS behind. Not notable, but sometimes those tiny CS leads can build up very, very quickly.
You see him snowball out of control. Good
Right.
lane pressure coming out from the University of Connecticut. In the bot side, they're shoving that one up. Already things coming down from Dartmouth. Looks like Skarner might try to run some interference. Not the best pre-6 jungler, but nothing to write off either.
No, I mean, he's not gonna like go into your jungle and like try to counter gank you for a kill like like a Lee Sin or Rengar or Kha'Zix, right? But he can go in there and counter jungle if he can steal it and get out, right?
Right.
And that's if you are going to do that, that's how you'll want to do it. But I mean, you
I don't
have
think
to
they have the vision for that.
No, you have to have the vision for it, right? You beat me right to the punch there, Kyle.
Wards are so important. Actually, everyone's starting with just that warding trinket, so.
Yeah, and it does look like there is about equal amounts of clear time on the side of Dartmouth and UConn. Rek'Sai clearing just about as quickly as Skarner.
Yeah.
Thanks. Rise taking some early damage from Zed. He is not doing a great job of dodging Zed's Qs.
No, Regret's been putting up good numbers in the lane just in terms of his damage output and CS differential now. He's a good bit up.
This is one of those things that Rise, in my opinion, not super dominant in lane early.
Sure.
But Zed can poke you down like any mid laner. You stand in the middle of all of his stuff, you're gonna get hurt just because he has decent scaling even at the beginning of the game. Caitlyn getting caught.
Yeah, good snare up. About half health from Kha'Zix there.
Yeah. Now Jin just barely missing, getting that sweet combo that we all love to see.
Looks like we may have a rotation up from both lanes. I don't think they're going to catch much here.
No, I don't think much is going to happen. Right as Rek'Sai got her knockup, she got stunned by the Skarner, so not a whole lot could happen. Sion and Zed, neither didn't really have their major mobility moves right now to go and help. And you're not going to burn a flash for something that's not guaranteed, especially against Skarner.
Speaking of Skarner, he's waiting off in the wings, but we do have some action in the bot lane. Exhaust burn, but probably not much more than that. Tosh, the guy now in a precarious situation, having to get on out of there. He's running, but he is quite low and does get snared up. Flashes, but it's not the best flash, and that should be first blood going over to Blue Mist. Does take it, so that combat mastery we were talking about, I don't think he's got this, but that's still...
Yeah.
That's the danger of the Sion passive, and if you're not paying attention to that in team fights, you bludgeon quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, because his hits do % health damage when he's in his passive undying form, right? So that % health damage, you can shred tanks with that.
Right, it doesn't matter what sort of itemization you've gone through, you're just dealing with it.
Ooh, Jin getting stunned up against the wall, taking some free poke.
Good little 1-2 punch there, and does take out about a third of his health, so absolutely nothing to sneeze at for just a quick combo.
Yeah, now we should note that both Zed and Rise are in fact level 6, so we might be seeing some spicy roams.
Absolutely.
If either one of them can get more pressure on the other and have some freedom to roam down, either top or bot.
Well, if it's the pressure game, pressure has constantly been applied from the side of University of Connecticut in this bottom lane, so much so that they've got a 10 CS lead on the Jhin and the comfort to back without having to worry about their tower too much.
Right.
Although that does leave them open to ganks. When you're pushing up to that tower and you don't have absolutely rigid vision control, you leave yourself exposed to quite a bit of skarnering.
Yeah, well, actually, you just kind of did the caster curse on yourself there, Kyle. Right as you said they needed a ward control, Zyra picked up a blue sightstone and a control ward, so she's going to be placing wards all over that bot lane, making sure it's safe for Jhin to push in, get as much pressure on Caitlyn as possible. If you look at the gold differential right now, even with First Blood, University of Connecticut is behind by maybe 100 gold. So you are really seeing a good CS being applied by the side of University of Connecticut.
Sure, yeah.
And if you get those leads, you
Catching
can
that
actually...
first blood.
Yeah, and it does look like Garen is...
They're slapping around. Ooh, a little bit of a misplay from Tosh.
Yeah, just missing his Q to get the slowdown and do more damage, but... I mean, not tragic, and like we did say, that Grasp of the Undying on Garen, while isn't the shield, it's actually helping give him more survivability in lane against that Scion. You know, we saw him use his Q and silence Scion, but he actually took a fair bit of health back, so he kind of stayed relatively even in that trade. And obviously Garen's passive, he can just regenerate health like crazy anyway.
Absolutely.
So, kind of obnoxious actually.
Skarner could be on the way down, does get pinged out.
Yeah,
possibly out of ward.
It looks like they want to try to go for it. Skarner might be trying to capture his passive right now, but where is he going to go? There's not a lot.
He's going to have to get out
He's
of
going to
the
have
wall.
to flash.
Oh, that stinks. They know it too. 8 minutes on that flash won't be up until 13, 15, so
Yeah, and basically what
pretty important cooldown.
yeah, that actually is a really huge cooldown because once Skarner hit level 6, he could have flashed ultimate, right? He could have
Right.
gotten a free kill with that. But making him force that flash, actually for really no reason, he thought he did gank, but
That was
Zyra,
pretty free, yeah.
but Zyra had that really great ward control like we were talking about earlier. Sion not being able to go back and taking that extra damage, that's going to hurt him a little bit.
I think so. That does give jungle pressure over to the side of Rek'Sai. 10 CS behind, gold about to the tune of 300. So Skarner's been a busy bee. Rek'Sai, we saw have a little bit of a slap fight with Skarner in that mid-river, but hasn't really come in for the gank yet. And to be fair, Rek'Sai does have some lapses in her gank potential compared to other more palpable junglers.
Right, and those are those high pressure junglers that we were talking a little bit about earlier. You know, that your Rengards, your Kha'Zix, you know,
Right.
those are going to
Hyper's
have
potential,
Right.
some CC tossed in there. Rek'Sai does have the CC, but it's tricky to land.
Yeah, and she doesn't have. And the thing is that there's a lot of escapes and a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's the flash in. Zyra not going to get it.
Oh.
And Bard counter ult does mean absolutely safe from the side of Dartmouth. Very clean defensive play there.
Yeah, and Zyra actually, Silas just missing his grasping roots.
I know.
Not able to get the stun off or the lockdown off on Caitlyn. Then she's not able to land her ultimate. There was no CC there. At least they did get the Bard.
Didn't jump through.
Yeah, I mean, at least they did get the Bard flash and Bard ult. But I mean, you're really not looking at a huge game.
No, I know. That's what that sort of situation is exactly what those spells are for. So
Yeah.
Bard doing everything he needed to. Good play from Akshed. Keep things moving in the right direction for his team there.
Yeah.
Still dead even in gold. 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, there was about a 300 goal differential, like you said, but they just caught right back up. Must have been right during their back timings.
Yeah.
But they were ahead by 300.
A couple of cinders coming out from the side. Well, actually, quite a few in this game because we have one on Garen and one on Sion.
Yeah, and then Rek'Sai is actually going to be probably building into that center as well.
Silas could be in trouble here. That's the exhaust, but they have to go in for vision.
Oh.
Could be baited. Nishu's there, but it does get exhausted. Actually, it's going to be in trouble. Half health, quarter health, no health. Goodbye. Xander God takes that one out.
Will he get the Caitlyn?
It's not given to us, I don't think so. But look at that. That's tower pressure there. 1-to-1 in kill count. This could be a gold swing.
Yeah.
As first tower almost certainly seems to be on the menu here for the University of Connecticut.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. You want to get your jungle down there early. You want to apply as much pressure to the bot lane as you can. Get that first tower goal in bot lane. Get your ADC going. At least try to get him a little bit more survivability because the itemization just isn't there.
Well, the pings are on Dragon, and it looks like they might know Skarner's not that close to it. Depending on their damage output, they could just take this one right out from under their noses.
Yeah, it looks like Skarner might have walked right past that ward that Zed has out, so they might know that he's there.
I think they had a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't come bot lane to help and he didn't show it mid lane, he must be somewhere in top.
That's gonna be Cloud Drake going over to the side of the University of Connecticut. Xander God will have the last say with that beast issue. Not worrying about it too much, but there's the pause, of course.
Yeah, quick pause timer. Looks like there's a mouse issue according to Skarner, so they're working on it right now. So there's been a lot of action in about the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, actually picking up the game's getting to a nice pace, and of course, what do we have but pause?
Yeah, I mean,
What else?
it's all right. So just to take a quick
We're patient.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna take a quick look at the items that the teams have right now. It looks like Sion's gonna try to build probably directly right into that Sunfire Cape.
Yep.
Get that early protection.
His lane opponent Garen as well seems to be beelining straight for it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not that surprising. I wonder what Garen's planning on building towards with those double longswords, though.
Yeah, not quite sure. So they are saying it's a mouse issue, sensitivity issue, and a little bit of friendly banter.
So to get back to the items real fast, Kyle.
Yeah, we're gonna steer away from this.
All right, so Rise picking up that early Seeker's arm guard, getting the armor he needs to protect himself against Zed a little bit better. Serrated Dirk coming out on the side of Zed, trying to get that extra damage just a little bit, and then getting some cooldown and some damage with the hammer. And actually, real fast, Jhin is Jin's got a nice little lead right now. 1 kill and about 14 CS. He's about 1,000 gold up on Caitlyn. And so you see a BF sword, a crit cloak, and that hammer, which are actually all really big for Jin early.
Warhammer is such an important pickup.
And we see Rek'Sai ulting to the top lane, but it doesn't look like she's really going to try to exert that much extra pressure. Jin is up in the top lane.
This
it looks
could
like they're going
be
to try to get him.
bad. Yeah, I think Loomis is in some trouble here. It's half health already, and he's not anywhere near halfway back to his tower. That's a crit shot from Jin as well. The speed up, and look who's there. Silas, scumbagging his way on through. Now Regret, and they regret coming down to the bottom lane. We'll see if they can get in range. No thank you. Shadows away.
He did have to, he burned everything for that though.
Yep.
And he got actually not a lot. He didn't get any health bars. I mean, he lost Ignite, he lost Flash, and he lost any sense of lane pressure that he has in his mid lane. But we do see Sion teleporting to the bottom
Guy
lane.
wants in. Nice predictive stun.
Yeah, but it looks like he is going to save this tower. And actually, Zig's taking
Nice bite.
taking some good damage from that. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of follow-up. Sion doesn't have the gold because he used that in the top lane to try to kill Garen.
He's just running through the meat, heading his way through this. He knows Zed's on the way, and he can deal with it in the meantime. They don't have a tower to fall back to. I've forgotten about that. This is going to be dead Coasits. Are you kidding? Tosh the guy says, now you die. Wow, now actually it could be a double as well. We'll take the journey, but distracted by a little bit of a fight on the other side from that. Maybe not actually really falling here. Regret takes that one. Now back to the top lane. Silas. And then he doing some damage behind the tower, but Garen is a harder nut to crack up top.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a thicker target than I would say Rise.
Yeah, so.
It did look like there was a little bit of a miscommunication there for the side of UConn.
Oh no, this is one dead. Skarner does pop the ultimate, but not going to be enough to save his life. That's going to be another tower falling in the top lane. Jin takes that one out. Xandergon getting ready to go. Another slight misplay with the flashes coming out from Silas, but you know, it's still early, 14 minutes. You're warmed up.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so close. They almost had 2 kills. Zyra just missing her grass beavers, just missing the rapid growth, not getting what she needed to get those kills. But it looks like Zed is going to be safe from that Caitlyn ult with Sion doing the old body block. They didn't outplay themselves, you know.
Very clever play, right? Coming out from the side of University of Connecticut.
Yeah.
They lane swapped instantaneously, teleported Sion bottom, knew that he could 1v3.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's like I said, he's really strong. The strength of the Colossus, right? That new Keystone Master that they have makes them really tanky on any hard CC that they land, right?
Oh no, regret. Please don't regret. Please don't regret! Oh my goodness! Woo!
That was almost really spicy.
The regret that decision memes would be
I would,
absolutely lit.
I would meme that on my Twitter.
The spot lane from the University of Connecticut is absolutely everywhere. They're just, I think these two players, Xandergon and Silence, right, are just on a mission to take every first tower in every lane.
Yeah, they want it, man. And that's what and this is where we're seeing UConn really thrive, right? They are applying all of that early pressure that they need to stampede this game out of control. I mean, just about 7 or 8 years ago. Oh, he got locked down though.
Don't know that they get too much. Sion doesn't have
Sion wasn't sure if Sion was gonna ult for that or not. Rise just missing the grasping roots, getting hit by the grasping roots again. Zyra is so close every time. Oh, it looks like Rise is gonna get caught though.
This could Tosh the guy actually. He's already half health. If they can get through a Sion that quickly, they can do just about anything. Loomis takes another kill on Tosh the guy. Meanwhile, some tower pressure, the goal from the side of University of Connecticut, but actually overplays. And Silas loses his life there. Now this could be bad. Xandergon and Nishu on the run. That's going to be the flash. That's going to be the ult. Goodbye, Xandergon. Blue Mist picks up another. And out of nowhere, we suddenly have a 3-kill, 3 longsword Garen. And I am just so happy to see where this goes.
Yeah, and actually, look at the bot lane though. Zed taking the tier 2 turret in the bot lane.
The trade, yeah, outer for inner.
With Darthmouth only taking the tier 1 mid turret. So that actually is, even though they lost kills, they got flame pressure. If Nishu dies though, it may not be, it'll be less, definitely less for sure. And Zed still pushing, but here comes Garen. Will he be able to do anything with it? Zed popping the Yo move, speed boost, silence, and
have the ult in just to negate some some of that damage, but I think he's dead here. Garen is so strong. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it could be a kill onto the jungle side for Darthmouth. Guy is back, and with a vengeance, shooting from downtown.
Oh, there it is.
That's it. Interrupts the teleport out, and Tri-Panic is panicking as he dies. That's gonna be that could be bad. Yeah, I think this is the tower dive. I think that's a kill. Mishu does secure it with the smite. So just when things looked a little dim for the University of Connecticut, they brought it back, and with a vengeance, they will get that mid-tier tower.
Yeah,
They will answer for the one they lost.
It was a pretty interesting turnaround, right? So you see that University of Connecticut is applying excellent pressure across the board, but then you get a really good mid lane pressure by Dartmouth, securing those 3 kills, getting that tier 1 turret, but then Zed trading for a tier 2 bottom turret from the side of UConn. And you're just getting all kinds of pressure all over the map, but then you're seeing a trade of kills in the mid lane again. And it's back and forth, but UConn keeps winning, and since they have that pressure.
The reason they can do that, the reason is because of these wards here. We have a control ward from jungle, from mid. We actually had one on AD carry that just got placed here in the Dragon Push, and support didn't need to use theirs, so all that vision is netting them so many opportunities around the map. It's why they have 4 towers. It's why they have 2 dragons to zilch.
Yeah.
That's why they're ahead in kills and gold.
And Zyra also has I think it's Eye of the Watchers support one that goes out of Frosting Flame and the Insight on the right side.
Oh, on Zyra, yeah. Okay.
Eye of the Watchers. I'm
Yep.
so close. Yeah, so she does have that item. She's able to put down wards as freely as she wants, go back and pick up more, obviously. Still, I mean, like, having those wards out allows you to do those rotations, allows you to make those ganks, allows you to get those dragon secures and put the pressure where you need it to. And that's huge.
Oh, gosh, the guy having hold to get out. I think he'll be all right. But meanwhile, Koazix,
See ya.
goodbye.
And that's. I mean, and I think that's where you see the strength of the Zed, right?
Yep.
If they do a like a split push Zed kind of comp, who on their team can really take them besides like Garen, or maybe even Skarner and Rise once he starts to scale up a little bit more. But he
You
still
really need a
doesn't-
little bit more from Rise.
Yeah, and Rise still doesn't have his Zanya, so he can't protect himself against the Zed ultimate, right? He
Has
doesn't have.
900 gold in his back pocket. I think from this point it's about 1100 when you've already got the
Yes, I believe he has one
Seeker's
more.
armor guard. Is Seeker's still actually part of that build pack?
Yeah. So I think it's Seeker's blasting wand, and then I think it might be an 800 gold combined cost.
Okay.
So he might be able to go back and buy it once he. We'll see.
Either way, it will be critical.
He decided to go for the.
Of course, we didn't even notice. Yeah, he didn't have it yet.
Rod of Demons. Yeah, not a bad buy. Started landing that. What?
Hard ult does whip. Looks like the title be breaking out. They're going to get in onto this one. Mishu is taking the frontline damage, and he's going to be taking the health bars low. Mishu should be the first one to fall in this fight. He does go shut down from Tox the guy. They're on the Tri-Panic now, but he turns it around. Koa Zix. They trade top for top. Still going favor AD on the side of Darthmouth.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Zed go though. He got the
I
bottom,
know.
like the
They
inner
keep
turret.
doing this 4v5.
Yeah, and Regret is really he's exerting that pressure because no one can stop this.
Right.
I mean, they don't have an answer.
You
And
need
then,
to allocate more than just one person, and if you do, Xander God is just going to bite through your wave, your defenses, your tower.
yeah, and that's the big thing, right? They got the pressure where they needed to early, so now they just have free reign of the map. Zed isn't scared of anyone. He's 3-1-0. He almost has his Blade of the Ruin King. He already has his Yomu's build.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to fight you right now.
Wants to get right in your face and then tear that aforementioned face off.
Yeah, he really does, and he's playing it so well, right? He knows when to go.
Again!
There she goes.
Goodbye.
See ya. And I mean, it's just.
Right under the noses of top and jungle, too.
Yeah, I mean, he ran away through their jungle. They don't, like, Darthmouth doesn't have any wards in their jungle to protect him from the rampaging Zed. And
Well, they have the Sightstone on Bard. He's been, sort of almost relegated to the top lane, just dealing with the residual pressure left over from the push there that he couldn't lay down any wards in that bottom jungle.
yeah, but I mean, you're exactly right. And they don't. No one else on the team has the excess gold to
Right.
buy wards. Like maybe.
I'm not saying that's just his job
Right,
to keep
right,
those
right.
wards. He raises his money.
But it's just there's no one else that has any gold either. Like Bard has that natural item to help him, but like no one just has that 75 gold to buy control ward.
Sure.
Even though I feel like spending the money on the control ward actually will net you like gold in the long run if you do it properly. But I mean, it's like one of those things that are up for chance, right? And it looks like
again, Kovacic. That's bad news.
Oh.
They're gonna buy some time, but I don't think it's gonna get enough. It does go down to Xandergaard.
actually getting caught too.
Yeah, actually, I think he's telling you he's going in the pass. He's not afraid of taking some tower shots. A good flash out, good snare. That will get him down to about half health. Titanic in some trouble here. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this, but with the appearance of Skarner, looks like he will be okay. Turret does go down in the interim, though. Favor UConn.
I think Skarner may have been taken.
Yeah, he's in trouble. That's a flash from Xandergaard. It does get snared up under tower, so it does not want to go through with that. Summoner heal to cleverly save Nishu. We saw that happen. We saw the screen. A shame. This could be another tower.
Yeah, and Zed's just free farming in the mid lane. It
Yep.
looks like he's going to try to apply pressure to that second tier mid turret, which is actually really great for them because that is essentially the only turret that they have, like the only lane they have turrets left on the map for.
Yep.
Which is funny because Zed was in the mid lane.
I know.
And he spent so much time roaming, so much
He's
time
the
at the
essence
top
of
of the
turret
bot lane.
pressure.
Yeah. I mean, he was applying turret pressure all over the place except for his own lane, right? But he applied that pressure early on Rise, so it allowed him that chance to get the mobility around the map that he needed to make these plays happen.
Fun fact also, I don't think he was the one. Like, I don't think he was present when the mid lane tower fell.
No, he wasn't.
It was the other 4 members of his team, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, the Zed was actually in the bot lane.
Beautiful symmetry to how that happened.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great, right? Fun thing to know. All supports practically right now should be buying that redemption item.
Absolutely.
It's so bloody strong. I mean, it's just so great, and it actually, so by having redemption, you make Locket of the Iron Solari stronger.
Right.
But by having Locket of the Iron Solari, you also make like redemption stronger. And then if you go into the Windmaster's Blessing, Keystone Mastery, both of those items are increased in their strength, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So because it increases heal and it increases shields.
Huh.
So by using Locket of the Iron
Right,
Solari and redemption.
I follow.
So having those two together is actually a really great item. But I mean, Marsh doesn't usually build Locket of the Iron Solari, right? But maybe if Garen tries to go for a Locket here, but there's no AP damage on their side, so you really would just be building Locket only for the shield, which I'm not sure how viable that actually is. So there actually is, as we said earlier, UConn has great ward pressure. They've got wards in key parts all around. It looks like Zed might be in some trouble for Garen. Maybe
saw
not.
this happen one time. It went over in favor of Lewis. The threat, though, thinks he can take it this time. Cannot take it. Could not take it this time. Not how we saw that going.
Yeah, and this is actually exactly what we said, right? Garen is the only person that could probably take on that Zed right now.
You see a fight breaking out. We know UConn is no strangers to the 4v5.
Oh, wow.
Great Bardal to get into position, so this could be the fight that Darthmouth is looking for. They're in the middle of them, and the health bars are still high, but Silas is going to be the first one to fall. That is Skarner picking up the kill. Now they're going to try to get in on Navishu. Kovacic does go down. In the meantime, Xandergaard, largely untouched on the back line, does fire off that ult. Has to interrupt before that deadly fourth shot comes through, but still going on. Blue Mist looks to be the target. Blue Mist not down yet, and Skarner will go in his place. Dry Panic left alone by his team largely and will die for it. Double kill Xandergaard, and in a 4v5 they still come out 2-2.
Yeah, and that,
I'm sorry, 3-2. I'm sorry, more than that because the fight's not done yet. Akshay's in trouble. Mishu will take that one. Xandergaard does get it, and Blue Mist will die here. If I were a betting man, I'd say that's an inhibitor, but I don't know if they're going to be that greedy with Kovacic on the respawn with ultimate up.
well, I mean, but what can Caitlyn do in this situation, right? She can't really defend against 3 people. She can't defend against a Scion. She can't defend against the Rek'Sai. And especially with Jhin there, right? Maybe if it was just the 2 tanks, she can risk it.
Sure.
But, I mean, you don't want to. Maybe try to exert some pressure and just make sure they don't get too close into your Nexus here, right? But that was an amazing fight. I actually would like to point out, I'm really confused at the beginning of that fight. Caitlyn was in the middle of UConn's team. She was at half health pretty much before the fight even started.
Super excited, super geared up for some sweet League of Legends team fights. That happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it just might have been an unfortunate pincer, right? Caitlyn was coming down from the mid lane. I'm not entirely sure where she started. I didn't see. I was trying to focus on what was happening. She was coming from somewhere near the mid lane because she ended up behind UConn, but in front of Dartmouth.
Right.
So she wasn't like, it was like one of those moments
Like
in
an
the
odd no man's land.
Yeah, it was kind of like that scenario. I think it was in like season 5 with Double Lift when he was playing Corki and he ended up in the middle of TSM, and everyone was like, "What is Corki doing in the middle of our team?"
Funnily enough, that was not the last time he would end up in the middle of TSM.
So there's not a whole lot to talk about right now.
I want to push the conversation back toward pressure.
Yeah.
Because with that inhibitor down, that is going to allow so much for the University of Columbia. We've already seen what they can do with the pressure that Zed can create.
Yeah.
But now, without Zed needing to create that pressure, with that just happening kind of by proxy with the inhibitor down,
Yeah.
this should be the time where they can very efficiently and quickly tighten down a lot of the screws that they've got
Yeah.
on this siege.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start clearing out around there and making sure that there's wards there, and maybe if they get a pick, maybe 2 picks, one or 2. It doesn't even have to be any major ones, but just to cut the team fight down to make it a sure win,
Right.
and then go for the Baron. The only thing you really have to risk is a smite steal at that point. But it looks like Mishu is really on point with her game, with the gameplay today. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to go for it soon. Caitlyn! Oh no!
Let's go as this is anyway. I was really getting that light sound. Like, actually making that full combat fight breaking out around the top side. Inhibitor, big health bars from the side of UConn. Lucas is getting shredded through. Red picks up Rise off the back line, so that is quickly falling apart. Now one 10 kills and 10 gold down. Lana Rule is gonna go. Mishu takes that one, killing the fellow jungler. And the inhibitor to boot. This
And you
looks
have
like the game.
super minions pushing in the violence. Exactly what you're talking about. The proxy pressure having the inhibitor down. It looks like they're going to take this game. UConn with a very, very strong first showing against Dartmouth. 13,000 gold lead, 11 kills, almost 30 minutes. I mean, very, very well done and well played by UConn.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play. Seeing them come out and take the win. What do you patch if you're Dartmouth?
Don't let the Zed through.
Sure.
So that actually is a very that's a hard question, right?
Sure.
Obviously we're still in the UConn versus Dartmouth game. This is actually just the end of game 1. This is a best of 3. It looks like they're about to queue up for that third game.
Sure.
Or I'm sorry, the second
game in the best of 3.
Yes, excuse me. So we are going to load you guys in here real fast. And while that is happening, we will take a chance.